Alright, so let's recap on what we've done up to this point. Alright, we registered a domain name with HostGator, and then we we ordered a hosting account, a shared hosting account, and we used the domain that we registered as the main domain on that account. Alright, so we still need to change our name servers so that that domain points to that hosting account. Alright, so when you buy a hosting account, you'll get an email with this information in it. Alright, well, we should have got a couple emails, one for the domain and one for the hosting. Alright, so your control panel login is right here. Alright, it's gonna look something like this: Gator, and then a string of numbers .hostgator.com at port 2083. Alright, so let's open that up. Alright, now you should have gotten a password as well. So I'm going to just grab the username and password from this email. Okay, I'll paste that in. Alright, so close that out. This is our CPanel, and you get a pop-up if this is your first time logging in. You'll get this pop-up that asks if you need help getting started. And if you've never really dealt with any kind of hosting account control panel, I definitely suggest that you watch some of the videos and read some tutorials and so forth. So I'm going to say don't show this again and say I'm fine, thanks. So this is CPanel. Alright, this is the most popular hosting control panel there is, and it's just full featured. It's fairly easy to use. So we have a couple different sections here. The first one is just special offers. Alright, this comes from HostGator themselves, from the company, and most hosting providers will have some area like this with just extras, really. Alright, we have their cloud backup option. What do we got? WordPress plugins and extensions. Some other WordPress help, SEO gears, which is an SEO service. Alright, and then here we have HostGator links. So you have quick links to your billing system, your domain management, live chat support, website templates, support portal. So basically it's just some navigation for your accounts. Preferences, we have the video tutorials are here. This is where you can change your password for CPanel. You can update your contact info. You can change the style of this CPanel interface, change the language, and then shortcuts. Alright, so next we have mail, and this is where you'll do anything that has to do with email. You can click on this, email accounts, and you can create new accounts, which we'll do, if not in the next section, then the one after. You can set email forwarders. You can, let's see, we have autoresponders, mailing lists, let's see, filtering, all kinds of stuff that you can do with email. Alright, next is the files, and these are different ways to access files on your server or on your hosting account. Alright, so you can create backups with the backup wizard. File manager, let's just open this. Let's go through some of these. Alright, so the file manager basically just goes directly to your website root. Alright, and you can see there's a couple things here already by default. We have an HTML file called default.html, and that's basically what's going to show up if you have nothing else here. Alright, so HostGator has their own default page. And there's also a favicon.ico file, which is basically the little icon that you see up here when you visit a website. That's what that is. So HostGator has their own favicon for sites that if there's nothing there. Alright, and the CGI bin is for CGI scripts. We don't really need to go into that. That's way beyond the scope of this course. Alright, so that's a file manager. That's not the preferred way, or at least my preferred way to deal with files, because you can't really do things in bulk. You can't really download a bunch of folders and files at once. If you want to do that, you want to use an FTP account, and you can create your FTP accounts here. Alright, and I'm going to dedicate a section to FTP. Alright, so we'll create some FTP accounts, and then we'll log in using an FTP client called FileZilla. You can check on your disk space usage. Let's take a look at that. Alright, so this will give you an overview of your space. So files in home directory, we have 0.7 megabytes. Now we really don't have anything on our server or on our hosting account, so very minimal. Files in hidden subdirectories, those basically are just system files, 0.14 megabytes. You can see your email, how much space is taken up by email. FTP, the public HTML directory, which is where all your scripts and your HTML files go. The temporary directory, MySQL, which is the database, and then mailing lists. Alright, so you can see that altogether we only have 0.29 megabytes, which is extremely small because we really don't have anything yet. Here's a directory listing of your home folder. Alright, the only thing that we really need to pay attention to is the public HTML folder. That's where all of our HTML pages will go. When we install WordPress or Joomla, that's where they would go as well. And you can create subfolders, and you can actually have separate websites in each subfolder. Alright, so that's the disk space manager. Where were we? Files. Web disk, you can actually make it so that you can create a folder on your desktop that will go right to your public HTML directory. So you can just drag and drop files. That's really it for that, for files. Next we have logs, and this little error log icon is pretty handy when you're dealing with server-side scripts like PHP. We shouldn't have anything in it right now, but this is where you'll be able to see all your all the errors in your log file. Let's see, where were we? Logs. Alright, so HostGator also offers Webalizer and Awstats, and they are both basically analytic programs. Let's take a look at Webalizer. Alright, so we don't have any domains really set up, so we can't really use it, but basically it gives you graphs and analytical data. People that have came to your website. Let me get rid of that. I've never used them really because I use Google Analytics, but they kind of work the same way. Alright, bandwidth, we can see our bandwidth usage. Alright, so we really don't have any to chart, but bandwidth is basically the user traffic, downloads if people are downloading stuff from your site, media files, videos, those things all have to do with the bandwidth. Alright, so next we have security. Let's see, we have password protect directories, so we can create directories and actually just add a password to them. And maybe I'll do that in the FTP section. Alright, so you could just click on a folder and you could just add a password for that directory, and then if someone visits that in the browser, they'll get a password prompt. And this here, the IP deny manager, is pretty handy. If you have someone that's coming to your site and maybe doing a lot of spam or trying to be destructive, you can actually add their IP in this IP manager, and they won't be able to visit that domain. Alright. and the way you get their IP is usually through some kind of script or software that captures IP addresses. Alright, so let's see, domains. This is where you can manage all types of domains. So subdomains, which are something dot your domain, add-on domains, which are just new domain names that you want, and you can create new websites on those domains. Park domains basically will you use that if you want to have another domain linked to your website, if you want multiple domains for one site. Redirects, you can set up redirects, DNS zone editors, DNS tool. We don't really need to deal with that. Next we have our database section. We have MySQL databases. We can use the wizard and we can create databases and users. And then we have PHPMyAdmin, which is a tool to manage your database. You can add fields, columns, you can add data, all through a graphical user interface. Software and services. These are popular open source softwares or scripts that are really easy to install. We use this quick install where you can install WordPress or Joomla or some of the open source shopping carts. You can install them in 1 or 2 clicks, which is really convenient. So we'll be looking into that in the chapter after next, I believe, and that chapter will be dedicated to these types of software and scripts. And then under advanced we have there's not really much you need here. You have your PHP configuration. If you're having memory errors or file uploading errors through the browser, you may want to take a look at your php.ini file, which doesn't look like it's in this area. No, so I guess you can't do that here. Oh well. So we also have Cron Jobs. If you want to set up Cron Job to run a certain link at a certain time, you can do that. You can run it every 15 minutes, twice an hour, whatever. And usually use Cron Jobs for things like email, sending welcome emails and things like that, but that's beyond the scope of this course. So that's pretty much it. Down here we have Google Sitemap, increase website traffic, Facebook traffic. Looks like more promotional stuff. Alright, so those are the sections of CPanel, the main sections. You also have things on the side here, like a search box, promotions, and then here you have your website traffic. Okay, so it'll actually show you yesterday's traffic, the traffic for this month, for last month, and then here we have your backup status. Alright, so I think you need to pay I think it was $19.95 per year to have your daily backups. And then statistics. We have the main domain, which is eduonix.info. It shows you the number of add-on subdomains and park domains. Last login, it'll usually have the last IP address that logged in. Processes, CPU usage, memory usage, disk usage, your monthly transfer. All this is pretty much 0 right now because we just created the account. Email accounts, FTP accounts, database, and then just your account information. It has the operating system, which is Linux, CentOS. Gives you your home directory. You might need this if you're using server-side programming. So that's pretty much it. What we need to do now is just link our domain to our hosting account, because right now let's just check it out. Alright, so you can see that this domain goes nowhere, and usually a HostGator landing page would show up. I'm not sure why it didn't. But anyway, to get this domain linked, we need to change the name servers, all right? And we got that in the Google, in the HostGator email for our web host, for our web server, all right? So we just need these two things here, first and second name server. So I'm going to copy the first. What's going on here? Grab that. Alright, so now what we need to do is go to our domain control panel, and we have the link right here under HostGator links. We can say we're going to go to domain management, and we want to click on manage domains, and you want to log in. Alright, so let's click on our domain. So you can see that our current name servers are ns1, ns2.hostgator.com. We want to change this, and we want to put the first one in, which came in that email. And now I'm going to grab the next one. Where'd it go? Okay, let's grab this one. And paste that in there. Well, yeah, there we go. Okay, and actually, you don't even need to do that. You can actually, if your domain and hosting is both with HostGator, it looks like you can just pick it from here. Okay, so let's do that. Save name servers. All right, so now, now that we set those, it can take anywhere from an hour to 24 hours for the domain to propagate. Alright, because you can see if we go to it right now, it goes nowhere. It's doing the same thing. So what I need to do is come back in a few hours and check it and make sure that it's pointed correctly. If not, then we have some troubleshooting to do. Alright, so that's how you can update your name servers. And like I said, you should actually go in and watch some of those videos that have to do with CPanel. Things are pretty self-explanatory, like you're setting up your emails and things like that, but we will go further into that later in the chapter.